Hi, I'm Dr. Bruce Rippee from the Strategic Advisor Board. Welcome to All Things Health and Wellness. Our goal is to have you make wellness into the fabric of your culture. And if you're one of the CEOs we work with, you can tell everyone that it makes you look like the good guy. You actually care about the people you employ. All right, today I wanted to address some things that are coming out very recently in the British Medical Journal. There are a couple of things that I want you to just be aware of, and it has to do with misinformation and disinformation. Unfortunately, a lot of my clients are coming to me and they're talking to me about, I don't like this misinformation. I don't like this disinformation. And then you get the people on the other side of this very complex technical issue. And they're talking about, we should never be masking kids in schools. We should leave kids in schools. You should never vaccinate children, whatever this thing is, and you get all of this as part of just a difficulty that we're always looking at. Well, let's take a look at what it actually says here. I'm going to share my screen with you, and I want you to take a look at what the British Medical Journal starts to talk about. So really, this is understanding and neutralizing COVID misinformation and disinformation. And they actually label those. They actually say that there's two different types of that. And so when they do that, I wanted to scroll down and maybe I could pick it apart. But they actually said it has to do with the intent. Misinformation and disinformation are different. They differ in terms of intent, right? The latter, which means disinformation, is created with the intention of deceiving, right? Intention of deceiving. And without additional information, such as what the tobacco industry documents mentioned above, right, it can be difficult to differentiate between the two. Well, in all honesty, someone that makes a mistake, hey, look, this is the current data and I'm bringing it to you, that's misinformation if that data that they were given was falsified, which has happened. We know it has. No one likes to talk about it. Why did they redact it? Why did they say, yeah, you can take a look at our data, but it's going to be 75 years? People have forgotten about this already. And it's a shame that they have, right? But let's also understand that on the other side of the aisle, whether you like it or not, there were people saying all kinds of things. They're trying to kill off half of the population of the world, whoever they are. These are dreadful ideas. The ideology that was occurring at the time was that there was this weapon that was somehow released. We don't know, but we think, right? The most recent one, by the way, it's almost embarrassing. Chinese say a jogger caused it. A jogger actually caused, look it up, it's actually true. Anyway, but so whatever, but you get this misinformation that we're all dealing with. So COVID-19 related misinformation and disinformation spreads through society, mostly because everybody has an agenda. If you can look at that honestly and realize that even when you're spouting, if I could say it that way, and I don't mean to be unkind, your message on this, you probably got an idea. You've learned enough. I know enough about it. They, them, they're terrible. This is what's going on, and all of that. But you haven't learned anything new recently. Same thing on the other side. Thank goodness for vaccines. If it weren't for those and masks, we would have killed millions and millions more people. There are people who have that view, and the odds are good that everybody's right there. The only time I get in the way of it is when science is completely dismissed. Yeah, you can have the disease, but that's nowhere as good as the vaccine. How is that ever true? That was never going to be true, right? And so there were, and by the way, they've walked that back and they've said, oh yeah, wait, science still works, right? But let me just say this. There is an agenda to everybody out there. Unfortunately, pharmaceuticals are for sale. That's what they are. If you look at the NIH, you look at the WHO, you look at what they're trying to do and all of that stuff, you have to basically pick and choose what you think is going on, but I'm going to promise you, you do not know, and neither do I. Let's be honest, neither do I. I can look at all the records that are available. I can look at all the redacted information. I can look at everything that I think is happening out there. And really all we have to go by is the reported data. And if you look at the reported data, if you are obese or over the age of 85, you are much less likely to die from something like this if you get the vaccine. If you are not one of those two things and don't have an influencing comorbidity, you certainly have other choices that should probably have always been available to you. If you want to look at the British Medical Journal, and I suggest that you do, and you want to look at the New England Journal of Medicine, if you want to look at the Journal of the American Medical Association, you will get what the company line currently is. You're going to get that. You can also look at HART, and I highly recommend that you look at some of these. This is one of them, and they're basically anti-vaccinations of children. and you can see why they came up with that information. So I think it's a good idea for us to go through that together, come to an understanding that there are quite simply aspects, nuance to this technical information that we will never be able to uncover unless everybody gave us all of the information, most of which we wouldn't really understand. All right. So that's why I always tell people, when it comes to you and somebody's spouting off about masks need to be worn by everybody all the time, or they're telling you that everybody has to be vaccinated and still should be, or they tell you that you could kill grandma if you, whatever, all these kind of things. Or if you tell people it's ridiculous, we should all just let it go through the community and whoever dies, dies, whatever that is. I'm going to tell you, I would honestly just stay out of it. And I would realize that we don't know. We just simply don't. There's no good information offered to the public that is whole. And I don't think it should be. Simply because we wouldn't be able to understand it. They're going to start giving you variables, physiological actions, chemical interactions, pathways, cascades, and hormones and enzymes. And I don't think we would get it. So in my opinion, for everybody out there talking health and wellness, this is one of those topics that I would just leave alone. I will see you the next time on the Strategic Advisor Board. Be an example of what's possible.